Hello everybody, it's Tim here again, here another movie review, this time for Longlegs. I think this is actually directed by the son, I believe it's the son of Frank Oz, who was like the dude that worked on the Muppets, and I believe he even did like maybe the voice of Yoda? Could be wrong, in like Returning the Jedi. I'm not for sure which one it was, but I know he's done a lot of stuff with the Muppets, and he's directed a lot of stuff too, I'm pretty sure. Um, in terms of this movie, I'll go ahead and say it from 1 to 4 stars. I'd give it a 3.5 out of 4. I found this flick pretty good. I didn't love it, but I did like it. I thought it was a pretty good movie for what it is. The trailers made this seem like it's gonna be like this really hardcore horror movie. Watching the flick now, I'm like, no, it's not really that. This is much more of a thriller movie, really, like a detective thriller about them trying to catch a killer. And I will say this film is not flawless. It has obvious problems. The like 80 something percent on Rotten Tomatoes, and I know Rotten Tomatoes doesn't rate movies. It's about how many people like a movie, but with a score like that, some people are going to think, "Wow, this movie must be amazing," but it's really not as good as you think it will be. But it's not bad. It's a pretty good movie. It's just not like a horror masterpiece or horror classic, which seems to be the thing. Like whenever like just like a good horror movie or pretty good horror movie comes out, horror fans, a lot of them are just ready to jump and say, it's a masterpiece, an unsung masterpiece. And it's like when you actually watch it, it's like, no, it's not bad, but it's not like it's not like The Shining or the next coming of The Exorcist. No, this flick is pretty good. It's a pretty good movie. It's not a bad movie by any means. The acting is good. Micah, or I'm not sure how you say her name, Mika Monroe, maybe the chick who's in like It Follows, I believe. She's been in a bunch of other stuff, but she's a good actor, a good actress. She's in this film as like the lead hero, the lead detective. He's trying to find this killer named Longlegs or whatever it is he calls himself. She does a good job. Her character's a bit too like monotone throughout the movie, too quiet and reserved, and she's deliberately like a socially awkward character, and you never really get an idea of why. I mean, you do see her mom eventually, who's really friggin' weird, but you never really get an idea about why she's so weird. Um, I don't know, but it didn't hurt the movie or anything. Like she's good in the movie, like acting wise, but because her character is so monotone, it's hard to completely like latch onto her because she doesn't emote a lot. But she's not bad in terms of the performance. She is good, and she's likable because the actress just has a good acting ability about her. So it just makes you it just makes you be on her side. At least it did for me. The rest of the acting in the movie is good. You got this black dude or black actor or whatever who plays her partner. He's good. I will say this: you can feel the movie's budget because a lot of times in the movie, when they're in like the supposed police station, you only see like basically two cops, the main female detective and her black partner. That's pretty much it. So you can tell they're working on a low budget here. But at the same time, this movie doesn't need like a super high budget in order for it to work. But you can feel those budget constraints in this flick. But what makes this movie work, for the most part, at least for me, is the atmosphere. This movie's not really scary, but it does have unnerving, like creepy moments, and it has like this dark atmosphere throughout it. Like the movie opens with Nicolas Cage's like weird ass, like just popping up out of nowhere, talking to this little girl, who we later find out is like the lead detective girl. Which I didn't like the contrived twist at the end. We find out that not only is she like partially psychic or whatever, and how she finds like killers and stuff, that she also has a connection with Nicolas Cage's character Longlegs because she met him as a little kid and she wound up surviving. He's like been murdering random little girls or whatever, picking out little girls who have like their birthdays on the 14th, and he's been basically causing their families to like just assassinate themselves, including the little girls. And but of course we don't figure this out to the twist at the end that she was actually a little girl from the beginning, and that her family never got killed because spoiler alert, her mother came out there and she made like a deal with Nick Cage that she would help him out by like going off and of course I'm going to spoil everything here, going off and helping him like massacre other families. So she was his partner this entire time. I do like the idea of the twist being that he's like been living basically in the lead detective's mom's basement or whatever, and that's where he's been making these dolls. And of course we find out he's like Nicolas Cage's character is this like Satanist who puts like does like some kind of dark magic with these dolls that he makes based off the looks of the little girls. And he puts like part of himself inside the dolls, and it's like some kind of dark mist or something like that inside of them where their brain is at, and it's like kind of a dark magic thing or something, or part of his soul, I guess, his evil soul. And so when the dolls go there, it just like the devil is with the doll, so it like causes the people to become like took over mentally, and then they like massacre their families and everything. It is a little hazy and a little fuzzy. They don't totally explain it. They kind of do, but they kind of don't. But you get enough of where it's like, okay, it's some ritualistic devil worship voodoo shit, whatever. You kind of get a good enough idea of it. Nicolas Cage, he's in the movie sparsely. but I do feel like it is enough. But I don't like the way he's taken out because it felt a little bit too easy for the character just to kind of write him out like that. Like basically, he's throughout the movie in little spaces, and you get some really ridiculous fun moments with him. Where of course it's Nick Cage, and I will say his performance is the best in the movie. It is a great performance overall. For the most part of the movie, though, he's still kind of like subtly weird, but he was just like all at once start like screaming stuff out, like the standard Nick Cage stuff. But he's got like this weird, creepy look to him that is kind of unnerving in the way that he plays it, combined with the look. And and later on in the movie or whatever, he does get creepier at some points. And there's a hilarious scene where at the end where he finally gets caught by the police because the lead detective goes back and finds his picture that she took of him when she was a little girl when she met him, and that's how they know what he looks like. And so the police are able to find him. And after they find him, they bring him in or whatever, and he's talking to the lead female detective, and he pretty much kills himself because he's been captured. I guess he doesn't want to spend the rest of his life in prison, so he's like, hell, Satan. He just like bashes his own head into the table or whatever until he's dead. That was pretty brutal. It was a well done scene and moment. Like Nicolas Cage's character, he still has those over the top Nicolas Cage's. But at the same time, there's like a creepy tint to the way he's playing it, whatever, to where it is unnerving, to where you can feel that kind of evil side of the character. So it does work. It is a great performance in terms of what they're going for in this kind of artistic, like slow paced horror movie, detective type flick. I will say this movie is a bit too slow paced at times. It does not so much drag, but you can definitely feel the pacing, or at least I could, in terms of how slow it was going at certain points. Um, and yeah, I didn't like how Nicolas Cage just kind of took himself out. I was like, it's kind of underwhelming. Like I would have preferred it if there really wasn't any twist. That he didn't have any partner, but it was just him, and you kind of like felt the tension of when they actually had to like take him on at the end of the movie or whatever after they discovered clues about how he was doing stuff. I think I would have liked that better. That's probably more of a standard thriller thing or whatever. But at the same time, I think that would have been more interesting to have Nicolas Cage throughout the whole movie. But yeah, he's still great in what he's in, and I do think he's in enough of the movie as it is. But I do think the movie would have been more impactful if he was the one at the ending instead of the mom. So basically, the female detective goes to see her mom, and she's got this other detective that's driving her. This other female Asian detective. The female Asian detective gets her brains blown out by the mom, and of course, you find out that the lead chick's mom, whatever, is working with Longlegs, Nick Cage's character, because he was going to kill her daughter, and so she made a deal with him basically in exchange for not killing her daughter, that she would help him like murder other families, and they've basically been doing corrupt shit for Satan, I guess. But that doesn't really strike sense with me because why? Like, first of all, Nicolas Cage's character, there's nothing about him that comes off like he's some strong badass or anything. Like, really, he only manages to kill people or take people out because he uses magic. Like, in a one-on-one fight, like, I could easily take this character. There's nothing about him that seems tough or hard to take down. He's just basically just a weird Satan worshiping doll maker. So it doesn't really make sense why she wouldn't just say, "Yeah, I'll help you. Sure, I'll make a deal with you." And then after she like got up or whatever, I got loose, she just jerked out her 12 gauge and blew his brains out. Like I don't get why she just didn't do that. But I guess the idea is that she's been like demonically possessed or taken over because she seems like she's kind of like in a trance or whatever when she's like helping him kill people and everything because she's like drops off the dolls to people's houses because Nicolas Cage character looks so freaking weird that nobody's gonna let him in. So if she shows up there dressed up as a nun, acting like the people's won something from church and it's a doll, that they'll be more inclined to like let her in there. So I guess the idea is that after she made the deal with him, that's just snap. That's all it took. She's just demonically possessed. It's kind of weak, and it's also kind of contrived that it's her own mom that's been helping out and everything. I kind of like the idea of it, but at the same time, I don't like it because it feels so contrived to just have it be not only is she the lead detective investigating the case who not only met him when she was a child, but also her mom is his accomplice. I'm like, okay, a little much. But she shows up at the end or whatever because she knows where her evil mom is at, and she's at his her partner's daughter's birthday, and she's brought a doll in there, and they're already being like mentally taken over. And it's weird to me because once she gets in there with the gun, she pretty much hesitates. She's just like sitting around or whatever, and it's just like not doing anything. And the mom is like, the mother and father have already been taken over or whatever. The mother's already going to be killed, and she just like lets them walk off into the kitchen. And when she knows that something bad's going to happen, she should. And they get off in there, and of course the black dude just stabs his wife to death. And like, why did she let that happen? The demonic doll is right there. Why, when she showed up, when she first got there, why didn't she just take out her gun and shoot the doll automatically and let the black shit come out of its head? Because that seems to be the way to destroy him. Because earlier in the film or whatever, I mean, I think you can do that to destroy him. I'm not for sure. maybe, I think, because they mentioned something about that, like you can choose to destroy it, but maybe it'll kill you or something. I'm not for sure. Or you can bow down to it or whatever, and it can possess you. It was something weird like that. I forgot what exactly Nicolas Cage said, but maybe that's why she just didn't shoot it. But so the father kills the mother, but why didn't she just shoot the father and just save the mom, and then just get them both the hell out of there? I don't know. But anyway, so the mom gets killed, and he comes back charging there, and she shoots her partner and kills him. And then her mom gets up to try to take the little girl out, and so she shoots her in the head and kills her. So she's sad because she has to take out her mom, of course. And so she basically just picks up the little girl and gets ready to leave. And after everything's over, she points her gun at the doll and just keeps shooting. But she's out of bullets, and so she can't blow its head up. And I'm assuming now, I guess it's okay to do it. So but she just looks at the little girl and is like, let's just leave. And I'm like, well, why didn't you just pick the doll up and just smash the shit out of it and just bust it open? I mean, at that point, if everything's just over, what does it matter? But she's just going to leave with the little girl. And that's pretty much the end of the movie. So she saves the little girl, and that's it. But after that, it skips over to this funny scene where Nicolas Cage was being interrogated earlier in the movie after he got caught, and he's sitting there talking. After is where he's singing like "Happy Birthday." We got to see a little bit of it on like the video footage that the cops were watching, where he's singing like "Happy Birthday" to the lead female character in the movie, and he's sitting there like singing "Happy Birthday." And right after he's done, he goes, "Hell, Satan, I'm." Like he blows a kiss or whatever at the camera, and then the movie just cuts off with like this upbeat song playing. It's like, okay, the director has a sense of humor about this, and Nicolas Cage's ridiculous performance, he's a little bit in on the joke. But yeah, Nicolas Cage is the highlight of the movie. I wish that he would have been the final here. It is a little disappointing, but at the same time, I get what they're going for in terms of like wanting to take him out partway through the movie and then have it twist over to be the mom. But it's just not as interesting to watch. So yeah, overall, I'd give this a 3.5 out of 4. This was a pretty good detective movie thriller. I didn't love it. Didn't hate it. I did like it overall. It's pretty good. It's an enjoyable film. If you're a fan of these types of movies, and you know what you're in for, I think you'll like it. I can see some people hating this who probably aren't into like the whole artsy thing or whatever, and probably won't like the whole suspense-driven, more artsy horror type feel of this sort of. I can see some people not being into that. For what it was, though, looking at this as from a critic standpoint, which is what I do, I would give this a thumbs up. This is a pretty good artsy horror detective flick thriller film. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again.